Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Toned In Entertainment. Julie, I feel like it's been a while since you've been here on the show. Maybe it's been a while since I've done a podcast as well too, because we're all living these crazy lives. But I have to say, I think we have a little beef going on right now, and I didn't want to say nothing in our pre-conversation. But you're NWO, I'm WCW. What's going on here, Julie?
See that?
Yeah, I was actually keeping a down profile here, so you wouldn't see it. Yeah.
So not only am I NWO, but I'm bedazzled NWO.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure what that means, but I like it.
It's just a little extra flair to the NWO for life.
This is like a very Julie at NWO shirt.
100%. If there ever was a Julie Cutler NWO shirt, that's the one that you're rocking right now. Well, welcome back, Julie Cutler, here on Toned In Entertainment.
I know, Tony, I feel like it has been a little while since we've done a podcast. I feel like we go through phases where like we get a lot of content, and then like you said, we just get so busy. But I am extremely excited for today's guest because this is somebody that I have worked with closely myself. I've had the opportunity to see him in training. He is in the process of recovering from injury right now, but he is going to be back in the very near future, making a huge comeback, which we are all very much rooting for. So if I may, introducing first from Wildwood, New Jersey, weighing in at an abstract number, he is Hendrix.
You still got it down, Julie. Look at that.
Got it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Hey, thank you guys so much for having me on today. I am stoked to be peeking my head out of recovery and getting a chance to talk to you guys, getting a chance to address the people once again. It's good to be seen.
I was going to say, Julie, every time you start that, everybody sits there and they waits for it. Then as soon as you say hailing from, there's always a smile on our guest's face every single time.
Well, I'm glad that number one, I can hopefully bring a little bit of joy to our guests in introducing them properly. And number two, it's also good practice for me. It's always a little bit of a toss up because I haven't really warmed up my voice today. So going into it, I'm kind of like, oh boy, what are we going to get? But seemed like it worked out all right. And Jason, we're super excited to have you as well. I know, like we've mentioned, you said sort of in hibernation was the term that you used since August, and you have a return on the horizon very soon. I know you don't want to give away too many details about that just yet. But going through this injury these past several months and now kind of being in the recovery process and getting back in the ring a little bit, what has that been like for you? And what are some of your new goals now that you've had a little bit of time to think, reflect, and just sort of have a whole refreshed perspective on your career?
Yeah, that is a loaded but fantastic question. So it's definitely been a long couple months, right? You get hurt, you go down, and like, to get a little candid here, I remember laying there on the mat. So it was at training at Control Your Narrative in Cleveland. Messed up, to sum it up, a backflip. And I'm laying there on the mat, and I was thinking of all the things I had lined up, all the stuff I had scheduled, and I just was like, why? Why right now? And didn't really understand at the time. Obviously, when your leg is broken, you're kind of just focused on my leg is broken. So got home, spent a couple long months in recovery, and not easy. You're sitting on your butt, and like you go from like, man, I've been traveling, like I would do like 3 or 4 states a week sometimes, to like going to the fridge is like a road trip now for me. Like, so that definitely is a perspective changing kind of thing. And I think that there's a lot of good to be taken from things, because one thing I didn't really understand how to do back before I got hurt was like slow down. And by that, I mean like live your life and like smell the roses and enjoy where you are versus like all the places you want to be. And not by my choice, but I was forced to slow down, and I kind of had a lot of time to sit and reflect on my life and the good in it, the bad in it, and how I could make the bad better. And my goal now would be more so just to enjoy, all aspects of my life, see things, experience things, and kind of just embrace the human spirit to the fullest extent of it. Wrestling is still very much in the picture for me, and that is part of living my life and enjoying things because it's what I love to do. But yeah, I think that my goal has gone from like, I need to do this and this and this by this age to just be happy,
And I love that perspective because similarly, we've had some conversations with some folks here on the podcast. Like I know we had mentioned we had EC3 on the podcast who runs the Control Your Narrative cooperative where you were training. And I feel like something that we had talked about was this climb, this goal that people on the independent scene have of like, if I do X, Y, and Z, then like, hopefully I'll get signed. And it's kind of like that end goal is getting signed. And a lot of people don't think about like, well, then what happens after that? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be portraying a character that is authentic to you? Are you going to have time for friends and family? Like all kinds of different things. And so I think that it is so important to enjoy the present moment and to, even as an independent talent, like enjoy where you're at right now, enjoy having creative freedom and being able to, put something together that's uniquely yours. So, all of that being said, while you've had this time, is there anything maybe that's come along that's sort of like creatively inspired you? Like, I know we've talked with some people about just like different hobbies, movies, things going on in pop culture, things like that. Like, is there anything that maybe during this time jumped out at you as like, oh, like light bulb, like this would be something really cool to kind of use as inspiration moving forward?
Yes, absolutely. So the movie Point Break, I actually hadn't seen until like a couple months ago.
Are we talking about like the original as well?
Only the original.
Right.
The original,
Okay. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, we don't do reboots over here.
The original is fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bodhi from Point Break, man, like he kind of embodies like, in maybe a more theatrical sense, kind of the lesson that I learned through this whole leg break. As I said, like his whole thing is like, we're not doing this for the money. We're doing this for the human spirit that people don't have anymore. And that's kind of my main life motivation now is I want to go out there and I want to make people feel something in a very, very authentic way. And I think that should be everyone's goals, right? Like no matter what level that we're doing this on, for 100 people, for 400 people, 4,000 people, 10,000 people, I don't know. You want to capture the hearts of those people. You want to be a little bit different than the match before. So maybe that's a bit of a ramble off of Point Break, but I would say, yeah, that movie is greatly inspired me, along with a lot of the music I listen to. I think that like a lot of my inspiration tends to come from like, I'll sit down and I'll be like listening to different songs, and my brain is so like ADHD wired that like all of a sudden somehow this like sparks this idea that I need to write down right now. So yeah, Point Break and a lot of music, I would say.
When you went on this path to become a professional wrestler, what did your family and friends think about it then? And was there any kind of like, oh, this is what we were worried about once you had the broken leg?
Well, maybe from my mom,
which is to be expected. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got one from my mom this week, so it's all good still.
Yeah, so my mom was definitely like, like about the injury, as to be expected. No one was particularly pumped to hear about that
No.
one. But when I first decided I wanted to do it, surprisingly enough, like the people around me were all like, dude, yeah, this is like what this just makes sense. Especially like my best friend Chris. I remember he said to me when we were in middle school, like, dude, I feel like one day you're going to be on my TV with like long hair, like doing wrestling. And, been on TV a couple times and I got long hair and I've wrestled. So I guess we've at least accomplished that goal. So, yeah, I would say for the most part, like, I'm very blessed in that I have a very supportive surrounding crew. I'm very picky and choosy about who I let be like close to me. And it's for that reason I think it's important that you are near people that are going to elevate you rather than push you down. And yeah, that's everyone. When I told them I wanted to be a wrestler and that I was signed up for training, elevated me, and they continue to do it to this day. So very thankful.
So when you first signed up, going back a little bit, because I know you're based in New Jersey. Have you always been based in New Jersey, and is that where you trained as well initially?
So I trained for like 2 or 3 months out here in Jersey, and that I was still at WVU for college at the time, so I was at home over the summer, and I needed to find a school when I got back to college that I can continue to do my training at. So Rise Wrestling in Uniontown, Pennsylvania was like 35 minutes away from Morgantown, West Virginia. Easy enough, right? So, excuse me, we made it happen. And after college, I moved up to Pittsburgh for, I think, 1 year. And I was like, I'll just do whatever it takes to be here. Rise is where I'm training. This is money. I'm learning a lot here. So I spent a year in Pittsburgh training at Rise. And through, my networking and such, I ended up actually at Ohio Valley Wrestling in Louisville, Kentucky. Not training, just, working their shows and TVs and stuff. And I remember I was just like, I didn't really know many people there, especially at the time. And EC3 was in the locker room. He was like stretching out, looking all muscular and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I got to ask this dude to, watch my match. Like any green guy is going to do, if they're smart. And I went up to him like all nervous and probably stuttering. And I'm like, hey, C3, like, can you watch my match? And he said, yeah. I was
That's a really good impression of him.
Spent some time with the guy. So I went out and I wrestled Cal Hero on OVW TV, and like 5-minute match. It was pretty good though, because Cal is, fantastic wrestler. And we got to the back, and EC3 watched my match and actually had a lot of good things to say, a couple critiques. And at the end, he was like, hey, I'd love you to come out and to one of these prefaces we have at Exodus Pro Wrestling. I think, we might have something with you. Come on down. So I ended up canceling the thing I had to do that day. I'll leave that nameless. And I went to the preface, and, the gears on that relationship started to turning. And a couple months, of us just like talking back and forth, being friends. And he heard through the grapevine I was thinking about moving to either Louisville to train at OVW or out to Cleveland, just because I didn't even know there was a school out there. I was just like, this guy seems to have my best interests in mind. I kind of have this feeling. And he texts me and he's like, hey, we're going to have something out here. We haven't announced it yet, but you should move to Cleveland. So I just did it, like kind of right on the spot. Moved to Cleveland and trained at Control Your Narrative. And I was there up until I got hurt. So that's a very long-winded answer, but it's been a very long-winded journey. So been around a little bit.
Jason, I want to give you a lot of props for that, because I'm sure it wasn't easy just to go up to EC3 and just, as a green guy, as you said, to ask him to come out and watch your match. But the fact that you took that first step, you took the initiative, which is what we're all trying to do, like you're trying to control your narrative as well too. And the fact that had you maybe not just asked him to watch this match, maybe this whole course doesn't happen. It's crazy, but like, I just want to give you a lot of props and respect for taking that big first step. Something so small seems to have like really made a huge impact in your career.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, you got to practice confidence sometimes in life. And whether it's on a small scale or a large scale, you never know what seeds you plant are going to grow your apple tree. And that day, unbeknownst to me, I planted a really good seed, and it got me where I'm at, or where I was before I got hurt. But either way, I still control my narrative per se, and there's good things on the horizon still, and there's a lot of good coming. So I'm excited.
Well, I also have great faith in the fact that there are amazing things coming for you. One thing, actually, I know you mentioned that you had watched the podcast that we did with EC3, but one thing that he had said when we were chatting a little bit just about Exodus, controlling your narrative, some of his students, was that when he met you, he immediately felt like you had it, which has in essence really become a big part of your gimmick. He is it. He is Hendrix. And so, without giving too much away, because I know that everyone wants their comeback to be, impactful and special and all of those things, is there anything that you can tell us in terms of maybe where we can expect to see you, or maybe even like some goals of yours for once you do come back?
Okay. Where we can expect to see me. So obviously Exodus Pro Wrestling, as we've covered, is a mainstay, always will be a home to me, and very thankful for them. And that's a great place to continue to tune into even before I'm back. They've been killing it with those live streams on NWA. Rise Wrestling, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. That's a place that I was trained originally. And I have a lot of really, really good friends there. And we might be seeing me there sometime soon. Maybe not, maybe. Who knows? And then from there, there's a lot of places I was at before, and I would like to be those places again. They're all over my social medias, like Imagine Wrestling, Erie All-Star Wrestling, ACW, plenty of places, WFA. And I was actually supposed to, as you probably know, Julie, debut for Rebel Spirit before I got hurt. So I have nothing booked. If you are watching this and you are excited for something, I'm sorry, there's nothing booked, but I would love to be back at any of those places. And when the time comes that I am ready to do so, who knows? So all of those places are worth staying tuned to and keeping up with. At
all of the promoters watching our podcast right now.
Yeah, it's a very I don't want to like promote anything just because, as I said, like I'm the reality I face is I'm not ready to be back yet, and I don't want to put myself in the position where I'm jumping the gun and booking myself for dates before I'm ready to be on stuff. But I have a lot of places that I loved working at, and things were going pretty good there, and I'm sure that I'll be back there. So stay tuned to my social media for the time being, and because I promote everything tirelessly, I will push it very heavily. So when the time comes, you'll know.
Okay, I definitely need to jump on this because actually last week I was a guest on the Real and Raw with August Artois podcast. And so they asked me as a content creator, as a backstage interviewer, like what grinds my gears? Like what's something that kind of makes me upset? And I said, kind of like when people don't promote their stuff, right? Like you've invested money into the training. We all know that driving and flying and go to events, it's not very profitable as an independent wrestler. So, but you're working your way to the bigger goal, and it's something that you believe in. So when you don't even promote yourself at all, like that grinds my gears, right? So I was looking through your Instagram. I'm like, man, Jason kills it. Like these promos are out there. The match clips are out there. You're out there doing it. And I love promos. And I'm going to capitalize off of this as well, too. We kind of have something in common because I saw you cut a promo in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, out there. And that was kind of like my summer stomping grounds for like 10 years. My parents, my mom is from there, so my grandparents were up there. So every year I was at Greensburg and Pittsburgh, like all the time. So I just kind of got a little like that warm and fuzzy feeling, like a sense of comfort when I was like, oh, look at this guy cutting a promo tagging Greensburg, Pennsylvania in the promo.
Yeah, that would probably be for Pit Fight.
It was, yes, yeah.
Yeah, Pitt Greensburg has this really cool college club where they host a wrestling show, I think at least once a year. And I was in the Bobcat Brawl like last year, I think. And runner up, hey, I went from 2 to second place. And unfortunately, no dub there. My buddy Preston Everest got that one over on me, but hey, you know what? Greensburg's a cool spot. I've spent a lot of time there myself, actually, believe it or not.
Can you tell us a little bit more, Jason, about what a Bobcat Brawl? What does that entail? What are the match rules?
It sounds like something out of the wild, but I don't know.
I like the name, and now I'm intrigued to know more.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my best understanding of this because honestly, when I like the last like year before I got hurt, I was working so much that like everything is such a blur. But I believe the rules were, I think like they might call themselves the Bobcats at that college.
Okay.
So it was a Royal Rumble. I entered number 2 and I was eliminated last. So, got some cardio in, if nothing else. But
you ran the gauntlet.
Ran the gauntlet. But I think the winner of that, Preston, got a title shot at this year's Pit Fight. And I believe he won the championship, actually. So I was just like one rotation away from that being me. So Preston, dude, like, what gives, bro? What gives, man?
I mean, now that you're, within just a matter of months, now that you're going to be coming back, maybe that's one wrong that you'd like to right at some point in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to tie it up with Preston for that belt. I think that'd be a great match, and as I've covered, I feel very deserving of it. I put in a lot of cardio to be there, guys. I was in like the whole Rumble. Hook a guy up with a title shot. Come on.
I was going to say you went from number 2. Sorry, Julie. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. You go ahead.
No, you went from number 2 and you made it to, second to last. I mean, I've always I still think like the Royal Rumble is my favorite event of the year just because it's so intriguing and the mix up of matches that you don't usually get to see because guys aren't always paired up with one another and stuff. So like being in like a Royal Rumble style match, like what goes into, I don't know, the preparation for that type of match. And I guess maybe like, I know you said you got your cardio in doing that match. So kind of like the end result once it's all over.
Yeah, I guess Rumbles, they're like trickier, right? Because there's so many moving parts in them. You want to like go out there and figure out how to like, hey, how am I going to communicate like who I am with all these different people out there? Like, what am I going to do to get over, So you got to think about that. You got to think about like, there are so many bodies in this ring. You want to kind of stay out of the way to an extent, right? Like you don't want to be tripping over people or getting tripped on because that's just going to lead to you getting thrown over the top rope, is it not? You got to keep your feet under you. So when people see wrestlers laying under the bottom rope looking like they're doing nothing, like, dude, I am doing nothing.
Strategy all day.
I'm trying to win this thing, brother. Yeah. Like hook me up with a break here. But yeah, they can be a little bit trickier, but I think that if you approach them the right way, they can be very, very well done and very memorable.
Now, that being said, I want to circle back to the question beforehand, because that was going to be my segue into something that I always like to ask our guests, which is and this is, I think, especially relevant to you, seeing as you're going to be coming back soon and hopefully mixing it up with a lot of new people. If there's anybody on your radar, anyone on the independent scene that has maybe caught your eye that you haven't had the opportunity to step toe to toe with yet, you can use this opportunity to call them out.
Good. I like that. I've shared ring time with him in a cash-in. Actually, I cashed in and won a set of tag titles off of these two. But I'd like to specifically get a one-on-one matchup with Kerry Morton. I
Ooh.
I think we're both showmen. I think we're both young athletes, and I think there's just no way we don't go out there and we tear the roof off the place if it's me and him in a ring. So, yeah, Kerry Morton, if you're watching this, it's your ass, bud. I'm coming for you.
I love it. Like the high intensity, the showmanship, like that. That's that'll to quote Tony Schiavone, that will put butt in seats for sure.
Yeah. Well, I could actually see, based on like what I've seen of him and everything that I've seen of you, and like you said, you both have that like young, hungry showmanship about you. I could see that being really good. Is there anyone else on your radar that we should know about?
Anyone else? Okay. I've gotten to wrestle a lot of really cool people and a lot of people that I've wanted to for some time, but I would say you put me across the ring from Man Bun Jesus, and you're gonna make magic. You're gonna make magic.
Ooh, oh, I could totally see that, especially like with what you do and what he does, and just how like the juxtaposition of those two personas would play off of each other. Oh, I think at some point when we see you back in NWA Exodus, that is one that I would like to see on the match card. So,
I
Tony,
think Bun and I have like a lot in common, but also
mhm.
enough that like it's like it's two very similar people or characters or whatever you want to call us on like different ends of the spectrum clashing, and we'll find out which end of the spectrum's better at some point. And yeah, again, Man Bun Jesus, if you're watching, my friend, it's your ass too.
Ooh, I was gonna ask Tony if you had any opponents that you want to see Jason
No,
mixed
oh
up with.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I think one of the guys that's making a complete impact, at least down here in the Atlanta area where I'm at, he's doing a lot of stuff. He's training with Billy Gunn right now. He's doing ROH stuff. Brady Booker down here is killing it in
Oh.
Atlanta, Georgia area. He brings so much intensity, and I just think him versus Jason Hendrix would just be, as he would say, FUN for the fans, but like really entertaining in the ring. Brady Booker would be my pick for Jason Hendrix.
I could see that too. I also think that would just be like a great showing of hair for everybody
Yes.
involved in the match. That would be a great hair match. I would hope that we don't do a hair versus hair match.
No. The both of them can't lose their locks.
No,
No.
we have to keep. Everyone has to keep their hair. That's the one stipulation that I have, is that it cannot be a hair versus
No,
hair.
I agree.
You shave my head, I'm putting a mask on like CM Punk, and someone's gonna have to rip that thing off me, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you've got the backup plan. I like that. He's got the alternative just in case. Okay.
This is professional wrestling, bro. You never know when a dude's coming to the ring with a set of clippers. You never know. I'm prepared for
True.
everything. Everything.
I like it. The backup plan for the backup plan for the backup plan. I like it.
In terms of opponents for you, Jason, there's a couple too that I would love to see. I was actually just thinking when Tony mentioned having an alternative. Someone else that I just thought of is the alternative Anthony Green, who just made his Exodus debut, I believe, at the last show in March, I want to say. Was it March? And I know he's going to be at the next one as well. So I feel like it's very plausible that the two of you could cross paths at some point. And that would also be a phenomenal match that I would love to see. And the other one that I was going to mention, I think I had mentioned this to him when he was on our podcast last year, but I remember seeing you wrestle Diego Alvarez. And I similarly remember seeing Diego Alvarez wrestled Jarrett Diaz. And I remember feeling like the two of them were really well matched and had very similar styles. And knowing how well you work with Diego, I was like, Jarrett Diaz and Jason Hendrix, that'd be another fun one to see. Especially, I think that you guys, your styles would blend well. So I think I did pitch that to him actually when he was on the show last year, but I figure I should pitch it to you as well so that maybe the like minds can come together at some point.
I'm down. I know Jarrett wrestles up in New England, correct? A good bit. So that's an area that I'm a little closer to now. And obviously, as you know, I've been before. So hopefully when I'm back again, myself and Jarrett will have a chance to tie up. I've heard he's a phenomenal talent. And as for AG, I did watch his match against Dante Casanova. Hard hitting matchup. Dudes were throwing bombs. And if he wants to throw some more bombs, let's do it. You know, I could cross paths with him at Exodus. I could cross paths with him in New England. Anywhere on the Indies. That's the beauty, man. That's the beauty. So AG has been there, done that, but he has not been there and done Jason Hendrix. And let the record show. Let the record show. And if he wants it, he can come get it.
It's got to feel good. It's got to feel good, Jason, that there's just so much talent out there. Like that there's all these great matches. And the fact that me and Julie we've already got your return card already lined up for you, whether you know it or not.
I got like 6 matches here, man. This is great.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
If you're looking for agents, Jason, I think I know a couple.
We're always looking to expand. Yes.
We are. And one other thing that I feel like we didn't touch on yet, but I feel like, Tony, this is another thing that we always like to chat with our guests about. Just going way back, I know we've talked a little bit about your wrestling training, starting in New Jersey, traveling to Pennsylvania, but going way back to like when you were a kid, can you tell us a little bit about sort of like when you got into wrestling in the first place, when you knew that it was for you, who your inspirations were? Where did it really all begin?
That's a cool question. When I was a kid, like all my friends watched wrestling and like we would get together and like it says do not try this at home, but like we definitely tried it at home. You know, believe it or not, of all those kids who are now like, you know, living normal lives as adults, like I was the least into it of anyone there. And it wasn't until like a couple years later when like my friends weren't watching anymore. And I think I was in middle school, maybe late elementary school. I found the pipe bomb, the CM Punk pipe bomb. And I was like, that's it. That is the, like, it just, I connected with CM Punk and I watched all of his work. Like I would watch his Ring of Honor stuff. I'd watch his like WWE stuff. I was just like enthralled. And I was a kid and WWE came to Wildwood, New Jersey over the summer on like a live event thing. And I remember we went and it was like, I think 3MB versus Primetime Players, Big E Langston versus Randy Orton. And I remember sitting there in the main event, which was Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio for like the big gold strap. And like at probably like 12, maybe 13, thinking to myself, like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And me and my dad were getting pizza on the boardwalk afterwards. And I told him like, hey, just so you know, like I'm going to be a professional wrestler. And he's like, haha, and a professional football player and basketball player and all that other stuff you say, right? Yeah, we'll see. And then, yeah, that was the one I followed through on because I was very ambitious and I said a lot, but I did indeed become a professional wrestler. I think they kind of started to realize I was serious as the years went by. And like, that was the only thing that remained constant. And I think in high school, I got into MMA, started training jujitsu, a little Muay Thai, and got very into that. And that kind of segued me in and, you know, got that shoot background. And then I got into the spectacle itself. So that's the journey.
I would like to ask you, like I always say this kind of like, you know, whether it's the first day of a new job or anything that we do, whether a new gym or anything, right? We're all a little nervous, right? We go in there, we don't know anybody. What do we do? Where do we belong at? What's going on here? So when you went to go train for your very first day in that training facility and you're looking around, like what's going through your head and what went through your head, maybe even like when you left that first day?
On the risk of sounding a little cocky or overconfident, I just knew I was going to be really good at this. I walked in and I was like, I'm going to kill this. Like, I don't care. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to give 110% of myself and I'm going to be the best at this. And I don't care. And no one's going to outwork me. And, it got me pretty far in just a couple years, and with that hustler's mindset, and it's going to continue to get me far. But no, it was always confidence with wrestling. It just connected with me,
It seems like a lot of people tend to know very quickly too. Like when they go in and like they take their first couple of bumps, I feel like there's some people that are just like, nope, not for me, moving on. Whereas some people, it's like you take your first couple bumps or, you have that first day and then you're like, oh, okay, I think I can do this. So it seems like from what I've kind of observed and just talking to different people, it does seem like there's a sense that like people generally know pretty quickly, especially if it's something that you've been passionate about for so long. And it's like, you just know that you want to be there because it's what you love versus, I've talked about this with a couple different people, but like I know WWE has gotten really heavy into hiring like college athletes over the course of these past several years. And it seems like now they're kind of moving back to their focus back towards the independent scene a little bit more. But I think there really is something to be said for having that passion, stepping in the ring for the first time, and learning all about like, what it feels like to take, however many 10, 11, 12 bumps per match, but knowing that you love it versus having to do that and maybe not having the passion behind it.
Yeah, there absolutely is. And there's plenty of people, and I've trained, as I've detailed, at like a ton of schools, and I've trained on like weekends or here and there at different schools around the country that were on a less consistent basis. And you see plenty of people come in and, whether they're like, this is going to be my thing, or I just want to try it, or what it may be, that find out very quickly that this is not easy. And I've seen plenty of people just say, hey, look, sorry, that wasn't for me. And you know what? You got to respect them for trying. It takes a set of nuts on you to go out and do something new and pursue something, especially so like insanely niche. Like this isn't something that it's easy to like have information on and like, okay, here's where I should go and here's what I should do. Like it is such a protected business, and the people in it like gatekeep a lot of, what happens with us, so to the average person, it's kind of a crapshoot. So it takes a set of balls, and I commend anyone who's ever tried.
I was going to say there are several people here in the chat. They're saying hi and hello. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop your questions and we will try to answer them as best as possible. There's Casey Batman 1985 and Maggie Sajak that are both saying hello. I guess they're saying hello to our guests. I've never seen them before, so I'm just going to assume they're here for Jason today.
How we doing? We doing?
Jason, I want to ask you, because the world of wrestling is such a crazy place, and my term that I throw out there is bizarro. Like, is there, whether it was a fan interaction or something that just went crazy in the ring, is there a bizarro moment for Jason Hendrix that stands out?
Oh, just like everything. Everything. Like
fair answer.
If we're gonna go super specific, this is like, I'm gonna sound like I'm lying and like I'm delusional when I say this, but
probably not, because it's the bizarro moment. So let's go for it.
When I was a kid, I had a dream. For some reason, I was in a TNA ring in this dream, but I wrestled Fandango in my dream, and then I grew up to not only wrestle Fandango, but I won. So
wow.
I think that was
Where
That was
was
at
that?
Rise in Uniontown, Rise Wrestling.
Okay.
And anyone who's listening, I have that match on my YouTube. I have that match on my Instagram.
Yeah, I did see it on your IG. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, give that a watch whenever you get a chance. But like that one was kind of trippy for me just because like I dreamed of this. Like not like, oh, like I dreamed to like
Right.
aspire. Like I dreamed of this and it happened. So that's probably my most like what is going on moment that I've had so far. Pretty cool stuff.
That being said, are there any other names, like any other big names, or even not big names, but just like anybody on the independent scene that's still also, kind of working their way up to something greater? Is there anyone that stands out as like a match that really taught you a lot, or was just like a kind of dramatic turning point in your career, like a learning experience? Anybody that you can reference?
Oh, there's so many. I think that like my favorite matches, favorite learned a lot from. We'll go with more learned a lot from because it's so hard to name favorites. But guys that I learned a lot from being in the ring with, one would be J-Rock Daddy. Wrestled him at RWA and like learned so much about psychology and structure. And after that, I rode in the car with him like a million times, and I learned like little tools that he uses because he's so good, guys. Like he's really good. That I used in my matches for the rest of my career. I learned a lot with Zach Nystrom. He's a Pittsburgh area guy, but he travels plenty too. Fantastic. That was just like such a smooth match, and that's another one you can actually catch on my Instagram, guys. If you go through the reels, it's in there. He was a great opponent. And then I would say I had a really killer match with one of my best friends, Gorgeous Gregory. We wrestled at Imagine Wrestling. I was one-on-one, and we're typically tag team partners, but we clocked the hell out of each other. We had a good match, and that was my debut there. And I'd like to think I made an impression. And he's another guy that just goes out there and he gives it 110% every time. So please, like, guys, check out J-Rock, Zach Nystrom, Gorgeous Gregory. They're all on social media, and they're all really good. So please.
I want to circle back to the promo part again, because I think so many people now are doing this now, which is great. Like I'm seeing them like galores now in my feeds, like wrestling promos, vignettes, little things to hype up the matches. But you've been doing it for a while now. So like, when it comes to get into the creative juices of creating a promo for any particular match, like what kind of goes into it? Is there a thought process per opponent or per the type of match? Like how do you start something and finish it with these promos?
Yeah. So I think that the first most important thing, and this is something I've kind of built on even more recently, is just believe it.
We can tell when you don't. Right? Well, not you, but when somebody doesn't, I should say. Yeah.
Absolutely. That stuff shines through. Like you need to go out there and you need to be as genuine as possible, or people are going to pick up on that. And when you believe it, it's easier to get passionate, and it's easier to, fire yourself up. And then outside of that, there's like, I think the biggest thing that I don't like with promos that I at least try to do differently is that like there are certain checkpoints you want to hit, right? A promo, you're promoting something. So you want to get across where this match is, when it is, who you're wrestling, why, the 5 W's of acting, right, is what you're trying to communicate in your promo. And I feel like people just knock those out as quickly as possible so they can not have to worry about them. They'll be like, on August 1st in Louisville, Kentucky, I face blah, blah, blah. I don't care for it. That's when I want to be hooked at that point, in that first 5 seconds. So like later in the promo, when you tell me these things, you've hooked me, and now you've sold me on why I should see your match wherever it is and whoever you're facing. So I just think like there's an art to being able to like pepper that in as you go versus like, I'm just going to get this out of my way so I don't have to think about it. That I'd like to see a little bit more on the independents. And I think a lot of people who cut really good promos are very good at that peppering, as I said. So yeah, that would be my take on that.
I think that that's actually a really great point. And another thing that I feel like we've talked about with some guests in the past, and I've just talked about this as well, like in some personal conversations that I've had with people, is authenticity, like you had mentioned, and just seeming as genuine as possible versus talking in like a promo voice, like almost like a special sort of put on voice that's supposed to have like this extra level of bravado to it, as opposed to your normal speaking voice. It's like, obviously you want to present things in such a way where, you know, it feels impactful, but at the same time it's like, you don't want to be talking in a whole other voice. You know what I mean? So that's another, is that something that you feel like you've seen as well? Because I think that everything that you do comes across as super authentic, and that's one thing that I love about the character that you've evolved into over the course of, you know, these past several months, is it feels like fresh and authentic to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's touching on a part of me that I don't necessarily let everybody see. So like that's kind of cool to like channel it in that way and get to bring it out for like all these people I don't know to see. But yeah, like I'm so, yeah, I would say that promo voice, it's something that you see a lot, and hell, like I have plenty of times where I'm like, I just slipped into promo voice, like I need to re-record that. And like I will go through it a couple times because it's very easy to like, you get caught up and you are trying to communicate something and then you're too married to it. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to do. I think everyone does it. I think even the best do it. But it's about like recognizing when, hey, maybe I'm slipping into a bad habit. Like I need to take a step back, watch this back, see what I can do better. Which applies to like all facets of wrestling anyways. So it's a common struggle. I understand it. And yeah, I would agree. It's definitely a thing.
One of the last questions I have for you, Jason, is, you know, you've taken all these steps, and we've complimented you on them to get to where you are today. So if you had to go back and give yourself some advice from your earlier training days, maybe your biggest lesson that you've learned now, what advice would you give yourself going into training?
Relax. just calm down a little bit. I was kind of like, and this is, I think, one of the beautiful things that has come out of my injury, which I know sounds like crazy and psychotic, but like I really have learned so much from it, and in many ways I'm thankful for the way things have gone. I was kind of like a big overthinker because wrestling was something I cared about like so much. I put so much work into it. I did what I had to do. I'd drive somewhere. I'd sleep in my car in the middle of Appalachia. I'd get up. I'd shower at a Planet Fitness. I'd go wrestle somewhere. I'd go back. I'm hurt. I'm caffeinated. I'm tired. Like I'm all over the place. And, you know, it's not, don't do that, because do that. And that's what wrestling's all about. But like, just chill out, you know, like you're doing the thing you love, and like go out there, enjoy it every single time. Don't worry about small things that don't matter, and just like appreciate the great journey that is not only professional wrestling, but is life as a whole. Yeah, again, I'm very thankful to have learned that lesson, and will be applied when I'm back in the ring.
And Jason, just to put you over really quickly, on the topic of training, I remember, I think it was last year, I got to be a part of, mainly watching a camp that we did with Kenny Dykstra. And I remember we did this exercise where he would give people in pairs a body part to focus on, and it was like you each got to take turns sort of like working your opponent's body part of choice. And I was kind of walking around and I was observing. There were 2 rings of people, in every corner, getting their stuff in, and I just kept coming back to you. And you were working with Diego Alvarez, and I was trying to kind of walk around, see what everybody was doing, but I just kept coming back to you because what you guys were doing was so good. And I remember at some point after the exercise, the coaches acknowledging, like, these guys in this corner were absolutely kicking ass. And that really just, like, seeing you in your element like that's that one of those moments where you're like, okay, that guy has it. And so we're so excited to see your comeback and everything that you have planned. And all of that being said, where can the people find you on social media so that we can follow your journey and see where we will be able to find you next?
Yes. So Instagram is at @HeIsHendrixPro. You can probably also search Jason Hendrix if that's too much of a mouthful. I'm the guy with his shirt off with really good abs. Facebook, Jason Hendrix on there as well. By the way, link trees in my bio for like all of these things. So if you don't feel like looking them up one by one, I got you, man, of convenience. YouTube, the Jason Hendrix Experience. And I think my Twitter might still be Jason Hendrix Pro. I'm not going to lie. I don't really use it. Not the best self-promotion there, but that's the one platform I kind of slack on. And my TikTok, I think, is still at Jason Hendrix Pro as well. Might be He Is Hendrix Pro. Again, it's in the link tree, guys. I can guarantee you my Instagram's right. So go look there. It's all there. And as I said, if you want to get a really good look at what I've done in the past, I have cataloged like almost everything that has been recorded and posted it somewhere. And I will continue to do that when I'm back. So if you'd like to catch up with me, come say hi at one of my shows, come watch me wrestle. I'm really good at it. You can catch that through my Instagram and my other platforms. So please follow me.
Awesome. And Julie, what cool stuff you have coming up?
I have a couple of things on the calendar. We actually just announced, so the next Rebel Spirit Pro Wrestling show is going to be a super show on Saturday, May 17th. That's at Tackle Box Brewing Company in Marlborough, Massachusetts. The following week, I will be making my debut ring announcing at Exodus Pro in Cleveland, Ohio, which we've talked about quite a bit on the show today. We have 2 more Rebel Spirit dates that we just announced on the calendar for June. I have my Fight Factory debut scheduled for July, and then there's going to be more things coming up. I have more things in the works that I will be announcing sort of as I am ready and have the okay to. You can follow me on Instagram, is where I'm most active. It is at the Crown Jewels. Crown is with an E at the end. It's the old English spelling. That's just how we roll here.
And for us here on Tone In Entertainment, we're going to continue bringing you those backstage interviews. Tomorrow night, which is Friday, I will be at the explosive return of One Fall Wrestling. It is returning after, I believe, 5-year hiatus, but it's returning tomorrow night. And we did a bunch of promos that we dropped this week, including one with Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh. So please go and check out all those. They're on Instagram right now. And we got some cool stuff lined up this week. And their shows are going to be running every Friday night, or at least 3 out of 4 Friday nights a month. So there's lots of cool stuff coming there. And then just other cool stuff. We don't stop here on Toned In Entertainment. We're going to have some podcast announcements, some more shows coming up as well, too. And I think that's what I got going on as far as I can remember off the top of my head. So again, Jason Hendrix, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck with the comeback, I guess you could say, from the injury. And we can't wait to see you in the ring.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. The comeback will be sweet, and best of luck to both of you on your present grinds. And I'm sure we'll share some locker rooms very soon.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see you either down here in the Atlanta-ish area, or I'm still working my way up to that Northeast area, and I need to make this happen. Yeah, it's on my bingo card.
Yes, Jason, I have a feeling we will be crossing paths very soon, whether it is at Exodus, whether it is up here in New England. I'll be seeing you sooner rather than later. So thank you so much again for joining us. And until next time.
Yes, Jason, thank you so much. Julie, thank you once again for being a co-host here on the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast. It's always a good time. And guys, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Tone In Entertainment for future videos.
Subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.